Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'd like to give you guys an update on this bonsai that I'm trying to create here using fusion of multiple stems. So this is a Crassula ovata, otherwise known as a money plant or a jade plant. And what I've done is I've got several cuttings and I've tied them together really tight with a string. And the idea in this is over time, as the stems swell up, they'll actually fuse together and they'll graft together and they'll become one stem. And it's just a much faster way of creating a really thick trunk with multiple branches than if you were to do it normally. So this has been going for a while, probably almost a year now. I haven't really been doing any updates, and that's because it's been very slow progress. I think because the string is so tight, it's actually constricting the water and nutrient flow to the top of the plant, and because of that the growth is really slowed down. But it is still growing and the plant still looks quite healthy. So what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to remove a few more lower leaves and tie up a bit higher. I've done this once since my last update, so I think there's been 2 tyings in total. So I'll just take this out of the pot slightly to have a look at the root system, see how it's doing. So the root system doesn't look too great, to be honest. It is very dry at the moment because it's winter, so I might need to water a bit more. But as you can see, there is a lot of little roots, but there's no healthy white roots. And I think that is because of it being tied so tight, but it needs to be very tight, otherwise the fusion won't occur. And there's a few lower leaves which have fallen off and have actually taken root. You can see there, this one has actually got a little baby growing out of it already. That's quite common with money plants. You'll find any of the leaves that fall off, they'll often grow little roots and little new plants will form. So I'm always getting new plants from my money plants. You know, just a few leaves fall off, and I've already got loads of new plants. So the original tie was down the bottom here, the slightly darker string, and the more recent tie was this white one up here. So I'm going to do another tie now, and to do that I need to take off some of these lower leaves. So I'm just going to nip off with my fingernails the lowest leaves on these stems to give me a little bit of space. I will have to be quite careful because there was the last time I tied this I did accidentally snap a stem. It's quite easy to break the stems as I had to tie them really tight to make this work, and also because the stems are quite thin and delicate at this stage. So there we are, that should be enough of the leaves taken off for now. I can keep these leaves if I wanted to make new plants, but as I say, I've already got loads that keep growing anyway, so I won't be needing to keep them. But that's freed up a bit more space. I would really like to have a look inside here and see how it's doing, but I don't want to loosen it because I'm not going to be able to get as tight again as I did in the past, because the stems have grown into each other and forced them really tight. But I can feel this string feels really solid, so it's obviously tightened up quite well. So I'm going to tie this on again. It's quite a fiddly process. You do have to be quite careful. I mean, you do want to get it as tight as possible, but at the same time, if I did pull this as tight as I could, it would just cut the stems in half, because they are succulents, they do have quite soft stems. So I'm just going to tie that as tight as I dare to begin with. Give it a reef knot so it doesn't slip. And then I'm just going to wrap this up as tight as I dare and get these stems really in tight contact with each other. So that's them wrapped as high as I'm willing to go for now, so I'm just going to tie this off to stop it from unraveling. So there we are, that's the bonsai now wrapped up with another layer of string. As you can see, it's getting quite high now. I don't think I need to go too much higher with this. I'll maybe do one more wrap and that'll be about it. I don't want to get this too high. I want to have it a quite nice thick stem and then branching out at quite a low height, because I'm wanting to make this into a moderately small bonsai. But it looks quite good as it is at the moment. You can see there's quite a bit of stem. I would like to try, as I say, try and see what's going on down here, but it is quite difficult, as I say, to really see because it's so wrapped up with the string at the moment. But I'm hoping that these stems are starting to fuse. They'll certainly be growing, and as they thicken up, they'll really be putting on a lot of pressure against each other, and they should hopefully fuse. Now, money plants tend to be quite thin as they start off, but once they get going, the stems really seem to thicken up. So what I'm hoping is these will take off soon, and they'll really put on a lot of thickness. What I'll have to do for them not to stay thin is I need to make sure that I don't keep wrapping this up, because there's actually, every time I wrap it up, I'm taking off a lot of the lower leaves, and when you take off the lower leaves, you're not really encouraging the stem to thicken. So what I might do, depending on what height I want the final height of the stem to start branching out, is I might leave these to grow quite large. That would encourage a lot of thickening, and then they will really fuse a lot faster. So that's it for now on this update on the fusion of this stems to make a bonsai tree. And I'll give you guys an update. It'll probably be a few months, as I say. It's quite slow growing, this plant. I might even put it under a grow lamp to try and speed things up.